coming in and out for me. Okay. All right. So what I'll do is I'll give you a quick brief on ANRF's vision and how we are looking at various things. Since it's a new organization, I think this is probably the most useful thing I can do. ANRF is a statutory body of India, presided by the Honorable Prime Minister. It is a bold experiment by the Government of India to help revitalize as well as re-energize the research ecosystem. And I think the key word I'll be using often is the word catalyst. Our goal is to catalyze India's rise as a research and innovation powerhouse. We heard from Professor Bhargava what we can do in very, very difficult times and trying times, and India has pulled it off. It has been through the excellence of multiple individuals and in spite of the system. But what if the system could also be supportive, and what can India do together? So this is say like a one-slide summary of how ANRF we think about. One is that we have a core part of our mission, which is focused on foundational transformation, which is to support basic sciences, applied engineering, and then that going on towards mission mode investment that cuts across academia, industry, startup ecosystem, and then ultimately leading to translation and beyond, right? So that's the sort of part of the ANRF core that I'm focused on at this moment. Some of you may have also heard of the 1 lakh crore fund, which is formally called the RDI, Research Development and Innovation Fund. That is focused only on translation and only on scale up and only directed towards private sector. So think of the RDI fund as patient capital, which is a balance sheet capital that goes towards the debt and equity or hybrid structures. And this is not grant capital, whereas the capital that I have been focused on is the grant and aid part of ANRF. But we'll be obviously a custodian of the funds that comes through for RDI, as has been announced. Now, the key word, again, as you see on the top of the slide, is to catalyze the overall investments in the country in R&I, research and innovation specifically, and I would even go specifically to say catalyze investments in research. If we are to progress from where we are between 0.65 to 0.7% of GDP of investment to a much higher normal, such as 2 to 3% of GDP, the non-governmental sector has to step up its investment. So our goal, therefore, when we do incremental investment of this kind from government, is to really catalyze the rest of the ecosystem to step in as well, right? So that's the frame with which we do everything. That also influences the design of how ANRF operates and ANRF works, which is very different from how National Science Foundation or DARPA, etc. work. So if I just focus on the ANRF core, our strategic approaches looks a little bit like this, where we have a horizontal frame, which is shown in green here, which focuses on the early TRL, roughly 1 to 3, 1 to 4 type range, where we are looking at, think of it like a National Science Foundation type agenda, where we are supporting basic sciences, fundamental sciences, and then applied sciences and applied engineering and so on. And at the same time, we are starting the process of collaboration between all entities. Collaboration is a means to an end of getting towards higher return on research investments. And this collaboration could be between institutions, our own research labs and our academia, one academic institutions working with other academic institutions, especially as part of the upliftment strategy of growing our research base across our institutions, and then across academia, industry, academia, startups, and so on, right? So I look at collaboration as a means to an end, and therefore, if there's one word I want to leave you with is how do we engender the right type of collaboration and collaboration for impact. Just like we're talking about blockchain for impact, I would say collaboration is a means to an end for impact. And as you see here, we also have partners of whether it's foundations or the industry and startups and so on. So, as was mentioned earlier, we are in conversations with BFI and so on, how that can happen here as well. And we have also worked with other foundations, such as the Vadhvani Foundation, the Gates Foundation, and have made some announcements. So we'll be partnering with many such foundations over time. But our goal is that partners can help us in various ranges of the TRL spectrum. And as well as industry and startups and MSMEs, research labs, they play a different role as well. So our goal is to do the right kinds of partnerships across. And our vertical investments are more directed in specific vertical areas. I'll mention some of that. And that is more where we drive in a single project. Those are more not subscale projects, but larger projects. But it will also, more importantly, have the right kind of mixes of people, collaboration, and it is only driven by outcome. Right? So that's the nature of how ANRF will approach strategically, and that goes to a larger part of the spectrum, whether it's 6 or 7. And then, as you see, RDI picks up from around 4 and goes beyond using the non-grant capital. So another way to look at ANRF's core strategies is to look at a foundation of a house where you're looking at basic research, translation research, or interdisciplinary research even between the social sciences and humanities. We have recently announced a call for centers of this kind. And then various pillars, right? Capacity building and uplifting our research base is as important as taking our key research institutions to their excellence and so on. Collaboration and mission mode research are in the middle, which helps us drive different kinds of capabilities. And in the final pillar, we are doing a few very, very selected experiments on what we call catalytic partnerships and private partnerships or non-governmental investment partnerships. Again, as we learn more and know how to do this better, we will be more bolder and do a lot more things and so on. And at the top, you see, we want to give a global or a national visibility of how research is happening so that all the key stakeholders can take a look at it as well as make decisions. So as part of this, we have also mapped out our various programs such as the PAIR program, and recently we announced a PM professorship program, and then we are doing a number of tech and media platforms of various kinds. I will briefly mention some of these. And then our specific mission mode programs, and we'll be announcing many other new things as we go forward. I don't want to spill all my beans in one day here. Okay, at the same time, our foundational programs which support hundreds of grants across our research institutions and our academia are the lifeblood of a lot of our work. So we've had many such programs. I'm just highlighting 2 or 3 of these. A PAIR program is a hub and spoke set up to help upliftment of our state and central universities to help broaden the distribution of excellence. Our early career research grant program supports early career individuals, researchers across the ecosystem. Our EV mission program is the first of our mission mode programs under the MAHA banner. And we have a collage of various programs, I keep joking to my colleagues that we are dishing out programs like, Rameshwaram Cafe in Bangalore dishes out dosas. So there'll be more and more programs coming out, but hopefully you'll see a coherence of why we're doing what we're doing and so on. So this is the hub and spoke. I don't want to belabor this one. I want to spend a couple of minutes on this vertical missions and challenges. These, I should emphasize, are candidate programs. I do want to mention that we have started off with an electric mobility program. I'm happy to mention that we are collaborating closely with ICMR on a program we will soon launch on medtech, medical technologies, with initial emphasis on diagnostics and devices. But then we'll selectively do some other areas as well. Of course, we intend to do more with DBT, with ICMR and beyond as we go forward. Another program we are going to launch fairly soon is something called AI for Science and Engineering, where science and engineering is directly modeled in AI, and we can help reimagine how AI gets done. And again, the way we do these programs is also going to change along with how we, the fact that we are doing these mission mode programs. One is that these have partnerships at the top level where ANRF partners with a ministry as well as potentially a private partner, one or more, anchor partners and so on. So that expands the budget that we can put into these programs. Second is that in some of these programs, we are starting to fund combinations of academia, labs, and startups and MSMEs. So this is a new development that we are doing. And of course, there is larger industry participation. In our electric mobility program, we had 10% in cash participation by industry. But we recognize that startups and MSMEs are different, and we are looking to even directly fund them in our programs. Of course, we need different mechanisms. So to give you an idea of one of these areas like AI meeting science and engineering, our vision is that deep science to deep tech can be dramatically accelerated by AI directly modeling this. And this is a new area that is emerging, and it's growing rapidly in various domains, whether it's from the medicine domain or biology or in physical sciences or chemistry or material sciences, etc. We have a number of things ongoing, and we intend to create a massive open source ecosystem around this, and this will obviously also have benefits for our startup ecosystem as well. The other thing which the ANRF is doing is to use social media to amplify the impact and of what our researchers are doing in the ecosystem. So we have actually put a requirement for social media for technical dissemination in all our grants going forward, as well as we have created channels for various of these programmatic things that we're doing. And so we are picking up that and amplifying that, and we'll be doing many more things in social media to help amplify. This is not social media for PR, but social media for technical dissemination and really celebrating what our researchers do so that we can, this is also part of our strategy to democratize research. Another thing we're doing is to use AI to create secondary content from primary content. This can help demystify research, demystify and broaden the reach and so on. This is again the first step in a variety of things we'll be doing in terms of platforms, of opening up science, opening up a community for Anusandhan, and creating AI tools that link between AI and social media. Okay? Watch the space for a lot more things to come. I happen to come from the world of AI, so we know many more things are possible. Okay, and also we are actively dealing with issues that are impeding our scientific progress and slowing down our researchers. So our goal is to unburden researchers and PIs from headaches of administration and then move that and concentrate that with our administration, and also hasten fund flows and deal with other irritants. And I'm publicly also driving some of these changes. Okay, and the community is seeing some positive response initially, which I'm happy to report is driving some change. But these are initial months and initial thing. I would like to acknowledge the work of our colleagues in ANRF who's been really tremendous in coming on this journey. Change is not easy, and doing things differently and with ingrained challenges and habits and things is a very difficult thing, and I empathize with that. But I want to thank my colleagues through ANRF and our supporting institutions for their hand and collaboration. Okay, with that, there are other things we have in mind, but I want to finally thank you and say Jai Hind, and there are many more things, and thank you again, Satya, for inviting you.